guys, welcome to part 2, and this is one of my most favorite topics, and you've seen me speak about this before as well. It's called food waste. I hate wasting food. It just gives me, there's so many people starving there, and we have no right to waste food. So that's something that I'm dead against. Another thing is that there's so many things that we consume that we do not know how to dispose. Like, for example, everyone is buying masks, but do you know how to dispose masks? No. The thing is that it's just going to be filling up in those landfills out there and polluting our environment. So what are you going to do to be 2 steps ahead? So today we have Vani Garu again with us, who's going to teach us about managing food waste and how to make compost out of food waste that we have. So Vani Garu, all yours.
When we look at waste itself, what waste does to the environment, it is end of use to us. So waste, the components of waste could be different things. It could be your dry waste, your packaging, it could be bottles, it could be kitchen waste from your kitchen, it could be sanitary waste, it could be hazardous waste, broken bottle. So the components of waste are so much. When they are mixed together and sent out of your homes, it ends up somewhere, right? If the municipality is picking it up, if they don't have good processing facilities, it is going to be dumped somewhere. They just take lorries and lorries and dump it. So these are called landfills, and these landfills are so polluting. Unless we understand what a landfill does to us, we will not change the way we look at waste, right? So the landfill is a dumping yard where there are villages around, people are growing food, there are farmers, and it is just, they go dump waste, they compact it, again they go dump waste. So every day, like Bangalore discharges 4,500 tons per day. That's humongous quantities of waste. And everything gets, compacted in a landfill where there are mountains of garbage. It's just when you go and visit, my life changed when I visited landfill. Today, if I am looking at living sustainably, trying to live lightly on this planet, not be a burden on this planet, it's because of that visit to the landfill. So it is mountains of garbage, stinking mess. There are people living around. And what really happens is most of the biodegradable waste, that is the waste from our kitchen, which is 60% of what we discharge, they start breaking down anaerobically in the landfill because they are compacted. And this emits methane. Methane is one of the deadliest gases. It's worse than carbon dioxide. They say it's 20 times worse than carbon dioxide. So we are contributing to the greenhouse gases once we discharge this. Because when we discharge the kitchen waste, we are not sure where it's going. Is it going into the lake? Is it going to the river? It's going to the ocean? Or is it going to, it's in a plastic cover and a cow is eating it, and, it is eating tons of plastic along with it. So we don't know in what way it's affected. So we say, my waste is my responsibility. So when I take care of my waste, I will make sure that this waste is, composted. So methane is one thing in the landfill. The second thing is a dark liquid runs off. That liquid is called leachate. It's dark and very potent, and that enters our groundwater, and also the soil around also gets impacted by the potency of that, and it's very poisonous. So the contamination happens in the soil and in the groundwater. So the 3 things that we need to live on this planet, air, water, and soil to grow our food, are three of them are completely contaminated, polluted, because we have discharged our waste and we didn't know where it was going. So it's best is that everybody understand that if I have to say no, it's like our hashtag is always say no to a landfill. So if you say no to a landfill, what do you do with the waste? No, where are you going to take the waste? What are you going to? So you recognize the waste first. What are the different categories of waste that you generate? And if they are kept in separated ones, like the kitchen waste, there's nothing in the kitchen waste that is not organic. That's all organic matter. Organic matter should go back to soil. So that has to be composted. If you have a composting facility close by, you can go and drop it off there. Because today in India, we don't have the systems that are available. If you go to the US, they have a curbside recycling center. You can go and drop it off there and they compost it. So they're composting facilities. So here we have a long way to go. In the meanwhile, why not take responsibility of starting composting at home? because knowing
Yeah.
that this is 60% of our waste, because other categories are dry waste, which are recyclable. Every packaging that you open, every you get online, whatever packages you get, they're all cardboard. They can go for recycling. Newspapers, your cinema tickets, your bus tickets, every bit of paper can go for recycling. Plastics can go for recycling. Then metals can go. If you open a can, it's a metal can, that can go for recycling. So there is one category of all anything that is recyclable, and India has a very vibrant recycling industry. So you'll see these rat pickers going on the road trying to pick something to earn his living. He earns his daily bread by rummaging into all these corners where there is garbage, through the garbage. So we need to understand that the third category is the sanitary waste itself. Like, it could be medical waste, it could be your diapers, your sanitary pads, band-aids, anything that is infected, body contaminated, so that's one category that has to be kept away. And so and there are some broken glasses, there's e-waste, so there are categories. So if we put our waste into different categories, in Bangalore we have a system called 2 bin 1 bag, where we say that 2 bins are, one is a green bin for your kitchen waste, the red bin is the second bin, which is a red bin which has only rejects, things that can't be composted or can't be recycled, goes into that. And the third is the bag, which you can just hang it in your utility and put everything. If you open the milk cover in the morning, make sure you don't snip that little plastic. Leave that with the milk cover, take down your milk, wash the milk packet, dry it and save it in that bag. So every bit of packaging that you get, what you get from outside, you keep collecting and send it for a recycling center. Your corner kabadiwala will take not all of it, but few of it. In Bangalore, we have recycling centers. We have 198 wards, and each ward has a DWCC, that is a dry waste collection center. So we send it there, and they further sort it, and then so this is the waste. You recognize waste as different parts, and they should not be mixed. They should be kept separately. So once you get your kitchen waste, what do you do with it? One of the best activities, that is action that you can take every day to mitigate the climate change, is to compost.
So how do we actually make compost?
Compost is the breakdown of organic matter. Anything that was edible, anything that was living once is organic matter, and that to break it down to become a part of the soil is the compost process, right? So there are few things that you need to remember if you want to do home composting. Here we are talking about home composting. So every time you collect your kitchen waste, make sure that you put it in some kind of colander where you drain out the excess water, because most of the fruits and vegetables that we cut are highly water content, and you don't want excess water in your compost pile. That's one tip. And then you collect them. There are vegetable peels, fruit peels, you have your tea and coffee powder, then you have your eggshells. So all these are compostable materials that come from your kitchen. There are 5 things that you need to remember when you compost. One is the greens, that is high in nitrogen, which is highly wet. That's your fresh kitchen waste. 2 is your browns. Browns are dry leaves, dry leaves that you get all around. Every tree sheds leaves, and these are amazing carbon material, and these are called the browns. So we have the greens, we have the browns. These browns, most people burn them. You see them sweep up. We want manicured gardens. You sweep and you burn. This again causes pollution when you burn, and this is a great material that needs to go back to soil. This is carbon that we need to put back into the soil. So anything, all of them belong to the soil. They don't belong in a landfill. They don't belong in a dump yard. They belong to the soil, because soil needs organic matter for it to be a living soil. When you do chemical fertilizer, when you do chemical farming, what happens? You put so much chemicals in your farm or in the ground that the life in the soil is gone. So and more dependence of you for chemicals, it happens. So it's best is to put organic matter back where it belongs. It belongs to the soil. So this is the second part. And the third thing is the microbes. In the natural world, microbes take care of the breakdown. You throw in your garden, you throw a banana peel or an apple core. In a week's time, you will not see it. It becomes a part of the soil, because the microbes in the soil, they break it down. But you have to mimic that in your container. I compost. What do? I mimic. So the easiest microbe that I can find is sour buttermilk, pulla majjiga.
Oh.
Yes. So this you leave, the curd out for 2 days, and it becomes very sour, especially in summer. So you just make a majjiga and keep. You make a buttermilk and keep, and this you add to your composting, which you're introducing microorganisms, because microorganisms will, hasten or accelerate the composting process. So when you keep collecting, if they don't break down fast, you'll wonder how long it's going to take. I mean, it's not reducing in quantity, it's staying like that. So you need to add them. For me, cow dung is another great source. Fresh cow dung from a desi cow, I always pick up. It's one of the amazing ways to put microbes into your composting pile. People say, I can't find, doesn't matter, you can use that. Even EM solution, you get ready-made EM solution which you can spray. Yeah. So there are different kinds of microbes that you can introduce. The simplest is your pulla majjiga, that is the buttermilk, sour buttermilk. Then that's the third, that you're introducing microbes. So you have the greens, that your fresh waste. You have the browns, that's the dry leaves. Alternate to dry leaves are sawdust. You can use sawdust, or you can use cardboard. The last resort will be cardboard. If you can't find leaves and sawdust, you can use cardboard. Tear them into small pieces and you can use as browns, right? And the third one was the microbes, which is buttermilk, sour buttermilk. The fourth thing is the container itself. What kind of containers that you need? So you can use terracotta containers. This is just a sample. You get containers like this with a nice lid. You can use them, big containers, which are natural material. They breathe. This is terracotta. Or you can use any bucket. You can take a paint bucket with a good lid and make sure you put some holes so the aeration is maintained. This is aerobic composting. That means the microbes that break down organic matter, they need oxygen like us. We are all aerobic creatures. We have to breathe. So if we are suffocated, then we perish. Same way, the microbes in that needs to have air always. So coming to the fifth thing is that oxygen, that you need to turn the pile once in a while to introduce the oxygen so that the microbes don't die and it slows down. If the microbes die, it slows down. So this is the 5 things that you need to remember when you talk about whatever kitchen waste that you get, to convert it into amazing soil. This is called the black gold. This is crumbly, it's earthy, and it smells so amazing. It's like when the rain falls for the first time, where it hits the ground, you get that lovely smell. That's how compost should be. That's how compost should smell. It doesn't smell bad at all, and you don't see any of the things that you had put in there. So this is black gold. To me, it's more precious than metal gold because it helps me grow my food, right? So this is something that I'm addicted to. Composting is something that I'm addicted to, and I don't eat it, but then this is I grow my food. I eat my food, which is grown in this living soil. This is called the living soil. This is the organic matter that the soil needs, that kind of life, for you to grow food. So the simple process of composting will be, you take this, put your browns in it. You put the browns, all the dry leaves that you have collected, and these dry leaves, if you can, crush them. I tell people, put it in a bag and jog on it for 10 minutes. You got your exercise and you have crushed your dry leaves too. So you dry, and then you put your kitchen waste, your peels, your coffee, tea powder, and whatever kitchen pails. So you make sure that you break them. If they are this big, cut them into smaller pieces so that, it happens faster. So put all your your yummy food that you've eaten. This is not garbage. This is not garbage. Unless you throw out, it's not garbage. This is yummy food that we have eaten, and it goes into the, kitchen. Just give it a nice mix. I use my hand. If people are not okay, please use gloves or a rake. Mix it. Then you add that buttermilk, little bit. That's it. Add it. Give it a nice mix so that the leaves are, along with your food waste, the leaves are mixed up. So they absorb the excess moisture, because as these peels start to break down, there's so much of moisture that it can compact and air won't pass and it can start smelling. So the best way is to mix it up and then put it in your container, whichever container that you have taken for composting. So if I have taken, this is just a demo bucket, I put it into this. That's it. It didn't take me even 2 minutes, to
This
mix up
takes a long time.
No, It's only in the beginning. It doesn't take a long time, Upasana. You're bringing your kitchen waste, you're putting it in a container, taking dry leaves, add an accelerator, put the microbes, mix it up and put in your bucket. Less than 2 minutes. Maggie takes more
done.
time. This takes less than 2 minutes.
I like that. So all what we need to do is to take 2 minutes to make a conscious shift for our planet. Is that right?
Yes.
I was just going to say, you do so much. This is so like time consuming, but now that you said it, it's actually easy. I just have to be a little more organized in my kitchen, and then I'm making a positive impact to the planet.
Absolutely.
My next question is, what do I do with all the soil? I mean, what do I do when it's done, and how long does it take to make?
So once your bucket is, suppose you have a big drum and you're doing it in that drum, you have put 4 days waste, give it a turn on the 5th day. Again, you start putting, give it a turn on another 5th day. So every 5 days, give it a turn so that you're introducing oxygen in the lower parts, because as you start putting on top, it starts to compact at the bottom. Don't let that happen. So make sure there is a balance. The moisture balance should be maintained. If it is too wet, then you have put more of the kitchen waste and less of the browns, the leaves. If it is too dry, that means the leaves are more and the wet waste is less. So that balance, you'll do it, you will get it as you do. You don't have to worry about it. So you should only know that what you have put less of, right? So you have to get the right balance. Once the bucket is full, it takes around 40-45 days for it to completely break down, to become something like this. You always need them in pairs. So you're starting in one container. Once that's full, you need another container to continue your composting. You don't wait for 45 days for it to fill up, finish and then take it out and then start in that. No, you always have two. So sometimes you have a tower system where you have 3 pots, one on the other. So you start in the first pot, you rotate it. Take the empty pot.
Too confusing for us.
Yeah.
Youngsters out there. So but then this is an easy try. Now, can I ask you a question? How much does one bag of compost cost in the market if I had to buy this?
It all depends on what kind of compost you buy. I have never bought compost, so I don't know. But the compost can vary from 20 rupees a kg to 30 rupees a kg. A good compost, good organic soil. So ultimately, what do you do with this? Is your question you were asking me.
Yeah.
You build soil. You build a living soil. So I add one part of red soil and one part of cocoa peat to grow in my, I have container gardening. I don't have land. I live on the 3rd floor of an apartment. I have a terrace. So I grow all my vegetables in containers. So I use this and I keep feeding. Every time I make compost, I feed all my plants.
What's your monthly kharcha for vegetables?
I don't know. I haven't I only buy organic vegetables. I'm totally.
But you grow them, na?
Buying. Yeah, I grow them, but I don't get them. See, I'm on a terrace and a container doesn't really give that many, but it's just the pleasure of feeling good about growing your own vegetables, because to me, the safest vegetable is what I grow, because I have not put pesticides. I know what the soil is about, so it's the safest food. So I do get, maybe in a week, once or twice, I can harvest something from my terrace, maybe some greens and cabbage, cauliflower. I have drumstick. I have a lot of brinjals. Then I have mullangi, radish. I have many vegetables growing, but they may not be enough. I still buy a lot from outside. We eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, so we do buy a lot.
That's amazing to know, because I was trying to relate this to growing our own staple vegetables, so we don't have to spend so much on buying vegetables every month, and how it can reduce our kharcha. 2 minutes here, 10 minutes here can actually bring down our monthly spend. For us living in apartments. So I also live in an apartment right now. And I was also thinking, and my husband loves to go and pick that one chili or one tomato.
And it's so tasty, because if it is grown naturally, without adding any kind of chemicals, because fertilizers all have chemicals. If it is grown naturally, the taste of the vegetable is much better. You will know, you instantly know if you buy good vegetables which are grown organically. Definitely it makes a huge difference. So I can understand why husband feels so good, and he has to pluck his own vegetables. It'll be really great, Because for me,
Yeah.
I go to my terrace just to check what it can dictate. Can it dictate my menu for the day? So, if there is a cabbage or what is ready is the menu that I have to make. So I'll have to go to the terrace to check. So I don't need a refrigerator to store my vegetables. It's on the plant and I pluck it off. So yeah,
That's
it's a
really
great
amazing.
hobby. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just makes you a better human being, according to me.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this session. It really made so much sense that, even the peels and the stuff that we throw out can actually come to use in our own apartment kitchens or gardens or anywhere. This is really
Yeah,
exciting. And I think that it's going to change the way we eat and how our health is, because all these small changes will improve our health drastically and dramatically. And
absolutely,
cost changes here and there, we can actually live a more frugal life, yet increase our quality of life with these small changes. So Vani, thank you
absolutely.
so much. Thank you so much. We
Thank you,
can go
Upasana.
on and on talking about this amazing
I
topic,
know.
because it's so pro planet, pro sustainability, pro what the
Yes.
young generation wants today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Don't call us
yeah.
the fast food generation anymore. We are the sustainable generation. And that's what
Yes, yes.
we are.
You have a responsibility, my dear, because
Yes.
you need to give this planet in a better form for the future to come. So there is a saying, that we don't inherit this planet, but we borrow it from the future. So it is a borrowed mal that we have. It's better we give it the way we received or make it better, but don't trash it.
I
So,
think that's a
that's
great
extremely
thought.
important.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure
Thank you.
talking to you. And we look
Thank you.
forward, whenever you have any interesting recipes of detergents or soaps or anything like that, please give it to us, because, a lot of our viewers and readers would love to know more about this.
Sure, sure, sure. Yeah. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Upasana.